Hi, Niro Thambi Pillay here from Investment Rise, and first of all I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who've been watching my videos, who've been liking, sharing and giving me your comments. For some of my videos have had over 20,000 views on Facebook is truly mind-blowing, so thank you so much for all your interaction. A lot of you have been sending in questions as well, which is fantastic. Thank you so much. I really want to now start taking some time, and this video and some of my other ones will all be about responding to some of your key questions. And one of the big themes around many of your questions has been, look, Niro, you talk about the next growth wave, you talk about how Sydney and Melbourne have really gone crazy for the last few years and now are set to plateau out, and now the next growth wave is Queensland. But a lot of you have questions about that. And so what I want to look at right now is probably the top 5 questions that I've received over a number of videos over the last couple of weeks, because I'm guessing that if some of you are writing them down and letting me know the question in the comments, then many of you still have those questions and you just haven't let me know. So let's go through them. Number 1, Niro, jobs growth. The mining boom's over in Queensland. Where are the jobs coming from? Guys, let me be frank. The mining boom in Queensland has ended many years ago. Okay, it's been many years ago, and for the last several years, that ending of the mining boom has caused a lot of people to leave Queensland, and there's been a replacement of jobs. So gone from mining jobs to more commercial industry-based jobs. But right now, there is jobs by the truckload coming into Queensland, all different industries. For example, you've got the largest university training hospital in Southern Hemisphere being built in Southeast Queensland. You've got the second largest shopping centre in the country being built in Southeast Queensland. You've got the oncoming Commonwealth Games. You've got the Queensland government saying they're putting in $25 billion worth of infrastructure, but $20 billion of that they are targeting towards one particular area towards the north of Brisbane. So you're talking massive infrastructure, massive jobs coming online, and it's got nothing to do with mining anymore. So you need to understand that if you're thinking about mining, you're about 5 years out of date. It's no longer about mining in Queensland. Sure, there are some new mines coming on board, but that's got nothing to do with Southeast Queensland. That's all central and north, and those areas are certainly not areas to be looking at right now. So plenty of jobs happening in and around Brisbane. Secondly, people say, we understand that Sydney and Melbourne, they're at the peak right now, and buying is not going to give you any short-term growth. But many people refer to an article I put out in the media recently where I said that in 20 years' time, Sydney prices will still be the highest in the country. And in fact, I believe that if in 20 years' time you look back at Sydney prices today, Sydney will seem cheap. So why shouldn't we buy in Sydney right now? See, the problem is that the Sydney growth cycle, in fact, all our growth cycles around the country, if you take them on average, are about 10 years. Most of the growth happens for 3 or 4 years. So we've just had that 4 years of massive growth in Sydney and Melbourne. So what's going to happen? We're going to have several years of flatlining. We're going to have several years of increased rental vacancy due to the oncoming oversupply of units. We're going to see several years of rents dropping. Now, I know that might seem strange, but I'm talking about rents dropping in Sydney because of all the oversupply of units coming online. And that's going to affect, the vacancy will affect units primarily, but townhouses or houses close and in and around many of these apartment blocks are also going to be affected because they're going to be competing for the same tenants. So you're going to have several years of pain coming on board. Now, if you can handle it, if you can handle flatlining for several years, if you can handle rental vacancies, if you can do all that, fantastic, then feel free to enter the market. But to me, that's not how I want to do my investing. Yes, I've got property in Sydney, I'm holding on to them. I've, like anyone who had property in Sydney for the last few years, I've had huge equity growth, and if there's a slight flatlining or downturn for a few years, it's not going to bother me. So I'm not going to invest right now. Instead, what I'm talking about is investing where the next boom is. Where's the next 3 or 4 year block of growth going to come from? And that's going to be in and around Brisbane. So my recommendation to many of my clients who want to come buy into Sydney right now is say, no, go and buy in a growing market, not in a market that's had its growth and expect to go flat. Go and buy in a market that's been flat for so many years and just starting to grow. Get that growth for the next 3 or 4 years, and then come back and buy in Sydney in a few years down the track. So that's why, excuse me, I would be saying don't be looking to get into the Sydney market right now, unless of course you've got massive cash reserves and you're not really doing it from wealth creation perspective because you don't need to. And if you're in that position, congratulations. But many people come and talk to me are not in that position. You need your money working harder for you right now, and that's why I wouldn't be looking at the Sydney market. The third question I get is, Niro, what about flooding? We've heard the Queensland floods. Isn't that bad? One of the key reasons I stick to brand new property when helping clients buy property is because brand new property in Queensland must be built, it's about a metre above the highest flood line on record, and that was back in like 1944 or something. So if you stick to brand new property, you're never going to have an issue with buying in a flood zone or affected by floods. So just flooding is not really a cause for concern. Okay, up there, it does happen, absolutely, natural weather, it does happen, but prices keep rising, and as long as you buy properties that are not in the floodplain, you're going to be fine. And the fourth common question I get is, well, Niro, it's Queensland, doesn't everyone live in Sydney? I mean, who's going to rent my property? Now, if you've ever been up to Queensland in the last few years, you'll know the population is growing there rapidly. In fact, it's got the southeast Queensland has the fastest rate of growth in the country. So some of these areas have vacancy rates of under 2%, 1.6, 1.2, which means literally it's essentially zero. Remember, anything less than 3%, or vacancy rate of less than 3%, means that there's more tenants than properties. And that's the problem you want to have when you're investing, is that you want to go into an area where there's more tenants than properties, which means your property is going to be rented very, very easily. So as long as you do your research and look to invest in areas with very low vacancy rates, you're going to be fine. And then number 5, infrastructure. Where is infrastructure coming from? And I addressed it a little bit earlier on. Southeast Queensland is going to have a very strong economy. In fact, Deloitte Access Economics in their latest report came out and said that they expect the Queensland economy to be the strongest for leading up to 2019 and beyond, stronger than the Victorian and New South Wales economies. So I really hope that that's helped. Just as the 5 most common questions I've been getting about investing in Southeast Queensland. If you've got any questions at all about anything I've said in this video or anything at all you want to address, please leave me a comment below and I'll either reply to the comment directly or I'll shoot a video if I think it's a question that can help many people. I really hope this has helped. Leave me a comment below and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now.